kids today. So desensitized by movies and television.
Welcome to the MTG podcast.
I'd like to have a calm discussion on this topic. I think we can manage that.
Where we discuss the latest in movies, TV, and games.
Guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
We're your hosts, Luke, Jordan, and Joe.
I see him up ahead. Let's rock and roll!
Haha, how you guys doing today?
Welcome.
What is up?
Nothing much. How's your week going, guys?
Going
Pretty
well.
good. I got a little sunburn at the beach this weekend.
You were playing it cool at the beach?
Well, it wasn't really cool because Florida is outrageously hot.
Oh, well, you can still stay cool, Joe.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Did you do anything dangerous at the beach?
Not really. I mean, we swam kind of close to dark, and supposedly when at nighttime is when the sharks come up to the shore. So that was probably the most dangerous thing that we did.
They come right up to the shore.
That's feeding
Well, they come up
time.
pretty close, because people usually aren't swimming at night.
I see. You played the game that I like to play called Swim Out as Far as You Can Until You Get Scared and Come Back.
No, because I wouldn't get scared, first of all.
You're so brave.
And second of all, there was a sandbar fairly far out. So if you swim past the sandbar, I mean, you're like, 400 yards off the beach. That's quite the distance. So
Nice.
we kind of stayed on the sandbars. And I was with my nephews and nieces who ranged from 22 months to just almost 6.
Practice
so-
children.
Yep.
Nice.
Don't have children of my own, so I just practice with these little fellas. And you know what? I kind of hate the beach, but they kind of made it fun. So
Well, how did they make it fun? Like
because
going
it's
to
fun, like little kids when they first of all, some of them hadn't been to the beach before. So when you see something for the first time, it's like new. And then also they say like not only the darndest things, but they're just fun. Kids are fun. I love kids.
But they're scary too, right? Because they're like running around in such a dangerous place like the ocean.
Yeah,
Aren't
but
you
you
afraid?
it's funny how they kind of have fear wired inside of them about the water. The older ones, of course, are fine and they do kind of do what they want to do, but the younger ones kind of go right up to where the water is just creeping up the beach line, and then they kind of like, stay there, and then they want you to hold them as you kind of go out there and battle the waves. So that's what I found myself doing a lot of.
My kids aren't going to the beach until they're like 13. I don't have any kids, but when I do,
We'll see.
I'm afraid a pelican's gonna come and like scoop them up, but they're too small.
There was a bird. There was a seagull there that probably it was the largest seagull I've ever seen. It was the size of probably one of my youngest nephews. It was the
See?
biggest seagull I've ever seen. It was huge.
You do anything interesting, Luke?
Not a whole lot.
Good.
Watched a lot of TV and movies. Not so much games, but
Perfect.
get into that.
Let's get into it. What have you guys been watching / playing? Luke?
Well, for the first week in a while, well, I guess it's a lie because honestly, I never put on there that I play Call of Duty, but I play it pretty regularly. Probably at least maybe 30 minutes each day.
You're a COD guy.
I think there's a lot of guys out there like that, but so I don't even mention that. So yeah, I did play some video games, but nothing noteworthy at least to put on the list. So this week was a movie week, and I saw a movie I had never seen that probably you guys have already seen. At least a lot of people have seen it. Say Anything, and yeah, we were scrolling through Netflix, me and my wife, and we were like, hey, we should watch a movie. It's Saturday night. So we watched Say Anything. I'm glad it's on Netflix. I can definitely see how it's a classic. Good movie. I don't know. I don't have a lot of in-depth things to say about it. It was a little different, I guess, than I had expected from what I had seen, just from, people things had talked about. And, yeah, a really good movie.
Should I watch it?
Have you never seen it?
I've never seen it.
Never
Joe,
seen
have
it
you
either.
Oh, really?
Nope.
There's no boombox.
You guys
and-
should watch it. I think it should be one on the list.
All right, cool. Let's do it then. Let's put it on the list.
It's not. If I was to put just a quick number on it, maybe a 7, maybe an 8, just for like nostalgia. That I just love old movies, 80s, 90s movies. I just love those qualities about them. So some of that like overrides things that I may judge the movie about. Like it's hard for me to like get into the nitty gritty like we did about Planet of the Apes, when it's just an older movie. It's just kind of like, I mean, it is pretty serious movie, but for the most part, I mean, it was classified as comedy on Netflix, and I don't know if I would quite agree with that, but it was, there was some funny parts, but it's a romantic, don't take too seriously classic movie. So yeah, somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Yeah, good
Cool.
movie. And my wife really enjoys the 21 Jump Street series, really the reboot. She hasn't seen any of the old TV show. So she only knows Jonah Hill as the face of Jump Street. And so we went and saw 22 Jump Street, which has got to be close to going out of theaters, because I think there was only 4 showtimes in the theater we went. And yeah, I mean, it's what exactly I expected. No surprise, and that's fine. I mean, those kind of movies, I guess you kind of go in knowing what you're going to expect, and it was funny. I guess probably not a lot of people share my opinion, but I think these guys do. So many of the comedies today are just too raunchy for me, and so it's just hard to get excited about, to me, movies that offend me in a lot of ways. Yes, it's funny, and there's funny things that I can laugh at, but then there's a lot of stuff that I either think is too gross to laugh at, or it offends me too much to laugh at. So, I mean, that was probably my biggest problem with the movie. Other than that, yeah, pretty funny. Kind of a typical 2005 and newer comedy. Yeah.
Did Channing Tatum take his shirt off at all?
Like
I
once.
think he's been getting a little
too
bigger,
bad.
so I don't think he's doing too many shirt removals.
Oh yeah,
He doesn't have to anymore. You're probably right.
he removes shirts with his face. Okay, that's probably not true.
But yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but if you like 21 Jump Street, you'll probably like 22 Jump Street. I wouldn't say it's as funny as the first one. But if you can get past the stuff that I didn't like, there's some funny parts. And third, final movie I watched this week, and these are just movies that I hadn't seen before, so that's why I'm mentioning them. I've watched stuff that I have seen, but I watched randomly. I was scrolling through Netflix again, and I was like, hey, Old Boy. I saw this movie was coming out. It looked really interesting from the iTunes trailer that I saw. Other than that, I don't know much about it. I know that there's an old Asian film made in, I think, like 93, that I guess it's pretty much based directly off of. And so I watched it, and I'd say about 3/4 of the way through, I was really struggling, and it just got worse. It's just another one of those movies. Not everyone shares my opinion about what offends them, but I thought it was pretty gross, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's definitely an R-rated film, and
It's got our boy Josh Brolin in it, though.
yeah,
Thanos.
and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to see it. I like Josh Brolin, but he does do some movies that are kind of gross. Honestly, it's a gritty movie. I mean, it's a Sin City style, maybe not style, but in the same like darkness of storytelling. And yeah, another one I would not recommend. It gets kind of gross. I'm not going to say anything that would be a spoiler, but yeah. So it wasn't my best week of watching movies, to be honest, but
Hey, you got.
I've checked them off the list, I guess.
What is it like? What's going on with Sin City 2? Speaking of Sin City, like you brought it up, and I feel like I was kept hearing about Sin City, and I was like, oh, it's coming out this year. Then I haven't heard anything about it. Is it still coming out?
Yeah.
All right.
I believe so. I never pay attention
I don't
to
know.
the release dates.
I think that it's supposed to be out in August.
Are you kidding?
Late
That's next
August.
month. Are you guys excited
Yeah.
about it?
No.
Me neither. And I love the first Sin City. It's like weird.
Yeah.
I think it's like past its time to where it's different. I thought the first Sin City was so cool. Still do, but
Well, if you think about it, it's
second
been
one's
almost 10 years. You know,
It's crazy how quick
if you're gonna
it
do
passed.
it, if you're gonna do a sequel, you need to probably, I would say, you have a window now. Some movies like Monsters University and Monsters Inc. That was like 14 years or something crazy,
it's crazy.
or 12. I can't remember which, but I mean that pulled it off. But rarely can you wait that long. A decade? Are you kidding me? That's just you lose everybody.
I think especially when it's something that's kind of like there's kind of like a novelty to it. Like first Sin City, we've never seen anything like that in our entire lives. And then like we get used to that sort of style. A lot of movies like that came out, like 300 and Spirit. And so by this time, it's like nothing new. And so I don't know. We'll see. Hey, it could still be good. Who knows? Got a lot of good people in it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's cool.
And Josh Brolin. Ah,
Really? Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Thanos.
I think I saw him he was all bloodied in the preview. Like he had red. I mean, because it's black and white, right? And there was like red all over his face, blood wise.
Yeah, they highlight a lot of red colors, like in roses and hearts and
Blood.
blood. He probably got done ripping
There
someone's
will
head
be
off.
blood.
Yeah.
There
Joe,
will be blood.
what have you been watching / playing, Joe?
I'll start with watching first. I watched. I've seen it before, but I watched The Great Gatsby this weekend.
No.
My wife had not seen it yet, and it was. I like it because I mean I grew up reading the book, and I kind of like the take on it, and I don't know what it is, but I've sort of over the years become more of a Leonardo DiCaprio fan for whatever reason. Like I kind of like him.
Okay,
And
you
I've-
seem
and
late
I've
to the
been-
game, Joe. That's not exactly a
Well, here
extraordinary
can I
thought.
say this? The reason for this is I feel bad for him because I think he's a really really I think he's one of the best actors of our day. And the guy's never won an Oscar.
It's a lot,
Somebody throw that guy a bone. Like he's been around now for almost 20 years it seems.
Yeah.
He's been
been all
around since the
80s.
90s, and he's been doing quality work. I can't believe he hasn't won an Oscar. So I'm rooting for Leo. Go Leo, go. Then I didn't follow that up, but while I was at the hotel this weekend at the beach, I watched one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life, The Internship. And going into it, my expectations were pretty low because, well, I just Vince Vaughn. I'm not a huge Vince Vaughn fan, but that movie was terrible. It was terrible from start to finish, and
It didn't look good. It didn't look
Yeah.
good.
I mean, the coolest part about it was Google. Like I kind of like Google, so that kept me watching it because I wanted to see some stuff behind. Because it's kind of like based on some stuff happening at Google. But anyways, and Owen Wilson used to be, Luke and I back in our college days, we used to kind of really like Owen Wilson. Like we liked a lot of the stuff he was in, and I still like some of the stuff, but this movie was terrible,
Good
man.
old
Do
Shanghai
not see it.
nights and days.
Oh yeah,
Wedding
Those are some of the
Crashers.
classics.
Shanghai noon.
Wedding Crashers was good. Same team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they didn't do it for me on this movie.
Yeah.
No
But that's
magic.
okay. The weekend was saved because AMC had a Rocky Fest.
Oh.
So I was able to watch Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4 at some point. I didn't catch all of them, but I caught, this part and that part throughout the weekend. And, Rocky might be old, and there are tons of flaws in those movies, but those are just good old fun movies to watch.
Absolutely.
And every time you hear that song, I just want to start working out, and I did at one point. Started
Really?
working out in the room. Yep.
You start doing
I wanted
a
to
set of
beat the
push-ups?
clubber, man. I wanted to beat clubber.
Just to let the audience in on what happens each week, Joe writes pretty much all of his titles in single letters representing the names of the movies. So maybe at the beginning of our what you're watching playing, Joe should just say his letters. Then we can play a little game here where we try to figure out what he has watched. Me and Jordan
I'm
do
just
it the
trying to
plain
save
old way where we
characters.
type out the name of the movie.
Like normal humans. That's
So
why
he had R1, 2, 3, and 4. So we had all kinds of guesses, and TI and GG.
And that's why we were like, each time he announced it, what it was, I was like, oh.
The big reveal.
Hey, I gotta keep you guys guessing.
Yeah, thank you.
And another thing I did quite a bit this weekend. I have a nephew who's 5 years old, and he is a huge fan of DC Comics right now. He loves the Flash, is his favorite character, but he also likes Batman and Robin and Superman. So I have on my phone Lego Batman, and he's almost beaten the entire game on my phone in probably the last couple months.
Good grief.
And the reason I put down that it's a game I've been playing because, you know, whenever he gets to one of those parts that a 5-year-old can't figure out, because, you know, that game wasn't made necessarily for 5-year-olds. You know, I'll play some of the game, and, you know, the game is kind of fun. It's $1. It costs $1 on your iPhone, and it's like, I'm talking about there's tons of gameplay on it. Like, right now, he is, I think he's made it through the first 3 levels completely, like the 3 or 4 stages. And I think there's a total of 8. And he's put a lot of gameplay in it, and he loves the game. He's unlocked a bunch of characters. I mean, the kid's pretty outrageous at the game. And so,
How many
you know,
hours
I would
do you
highly...
think it is?
What?
How many hours do you think that game takes to beat?
Well, right now, he has 4 hours in the game.
It's a long time.
And he's
to
at
play a game
and
like
he's
that.
at
Especially a mobile game.
Yeah.
He's at 9%.
Oh
So,
my god.
but he is a 5-year-old, so I don't know
That's a full-fledged
exactly.
game.
Yeah. Well, I think it is a full-fledged game. Again, it was $1. I don't know how much it costs now, but all I paid was $1 for it, and takes up a little bit of space on the phone. You know, I don't know how many megabytes, but I would, if you have kids that are between the ages of 5 and 10, I would highly suggest the game. I would say go for it. Your kids probably would love it, and I love the fact that he loves DC Universe. You know,
That's right.
And Batman.
Start him young.
Yeah.
Batman's
And I
a
guess
good
one
place
thing
to
I
start.
didn't put on here is every night before we went to bed, I have he's not 2 yet, and he loves Spider-Man, so we would watch episodes of the 1967 season, which is the first season of Spider-Man. It's on
animated or live action?
animated.
Okay.
Animated. It's on YouTube. So we watched probably a total of 4 episodes this weekend, and he literally sits there in my lap holding the phone for 29 minutes of that cartoon. It's pretty ridiculous.
Wow. Does Stan Lee still intro? Did he intro that show? I know there was one of those shows that he introed.
He might have.
It's like his voice.
To be honest
He's like,
with you,
hey, Marvel
I
fans.
Yeah. Well, we only watched 2 of them on with sound. We were at restaurants the rest of the time, so he would be like, without any sound, he would just be staring at it, watching, and then pointing at Spider-Man. It's pretty fantastic. I love the fact that they like superheroes. That makes me really, really happy.
That's really cute, Joe.
Yeah.
That's
But enough with
really
what I've
cute.
been watching. Jordan, what have you been watching / playing?
Well, I'll tell you, Joe. I finished season 2 of Arrow. I am
Don't
caught
say
up.
anything.
I'm not
I'm
going
gonna
to say
punch you.
anything. Well, I'm not going to say anything spoilery other than it's awesome, and I cannot wait for the new season. I can't wait for The Flash. I am ready. It's a really good show. I suggest if you remotely like superhero stuff, check it out. It's cool to have like a full-fledged superhero show on TV. Because like with Smallville is a big tease. Like, all right, well, we can't make him a full-fledged superhero, so here's 10 years of lead up. And which I like Smallville, but this is the real deal. So check it out. So I think that wasn't last week. It was a couple weeks ago. I was on this podcast with my nose stuck up in the air, my arms crossed, a big frown on my face, because some reason I was skeptical on the video game Destiny. And what I was talking about back then was the Destiny Alpha that came out. It's a pre-release thing that they gave people who probably people who were tuning into the E3 conference. They were giving a lot of codes, and I got one and I played it, and I was like, doesn't seem like there's a lot here. There's not much story. I don't know about this. I've turned around. The Destiny beta came out, and I've almost completely turned around about it. I'm so pumped for this game to come out. I will be there day one, and I'm gonna get it.
What we kind of talked about what you didn't like about the alpha, but what's the beta? What made it so much better?
Well, the
that
big
turned
thing
you
about
around?
big thing about the
Because
alpha.
it took you like 4 years to turn around on the Dark Knight, so I'd like to know what only took a matter of minutes for you to turn around with Destiny.
Well, the problem with the beta was it kind of threw you in to the gameplay without any sort of context. Not only there were a few things that weren't done, like Peter Dinklage's voice acting was a lot different. Yeah, that wizard came from the moon. That wasn't in the beta, by the way. They took that line out altogether, like, because you get to that same point in that you got to in the alpha where he says it, and I was waiting for it. I was like, here it comes, and like they took it out, which is good for them. After all that ridicule from the internet, I'll take it out too. But no, the thing is, they introduced the beta with the story, with the main story, and they give you context from when when the character first opens his eyes and gets to doing his missions, which obviously this kind of game, it's like a massive online multiplayer game, so it's not huge on story, but I just wanted some story to kind of drive me through, and you get that with the beta, you get a taste of that, and man, the gameplay is a lot of fun. Like, that's the one thing that with the MMOs that kind of turned me off a little bit. The gameplay is kind of secondary to leveling up and looting and all this stuff, but the gameplay is so fun. The controls are really tight. The shooting mechanics are awesome and precise, and just the different skills that each type can learn they're really fun. Like, I don't know what kind of type I am. I think I'm a hunter, but like you can double jump with like your jetpack and like throw knives. It's like really slick, really cool. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It comes out September. Joe, Luke, you guys need to download that beta.
Download it.
Yeah, honestly,
I'll get on that.
I wasn't sure it
this
had come
weekend.
out yet because I've been a fan of Bungie, of course, since Halo, and I've kind of followed what they've done. I remember it for a long time, like the Halo 2, Halo 3 era. I was on the website like pretty religiously, like looking at updates of like new Halo stuff and just seeing what they were doing, and so I really didn't realize it was out. So
I think you'll be
I'll
really
download
pleased.
it.
You're gonna be really pleased with
Definitely
this.
download it.
Yeah, there's a lot of Halo in there, which is awesome. Like the music, very Halo, very good music. I don't know if music's a big thing for a lot of people in video games. For me, if a game has good music, it's like if a movie has good music, I'm like pulled in even more.
Halo had excellent
But yeah.
music.
Oh, Halo's music.
Music is
great.
Music is, it sets the emotion. It makes a movie. I mean, I think music is probably the most valuable component of a movie or a television show or even a game.
It's huge. That's why they pay these big composers to do it now these days. It means a lot if music's good. I mean, like, that's why I don't like a lot of games that are kind of like mainstream, because like a lot of them are kind of like just like movie music, which when I know that's, we just said movie music's really good, but like the most generic type of movie music, like, oh, here's an exciting part, and so nothing really, no themes, no melody, but like I think that's really important. Good themes, good melody. Anyways, so
We also we're in like the like nowadays it's like what is it called? A dubstep is like taking over the world by storm. I feel like more and more movies are having like all these like dubstep clashes with their
Amazing Spider-Man
classical
2.
music. Yeah, you know, I really like the music in Amazing Spider-Man.
Me
2.
too. Me too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
There was dubstep in Killzone Shadowfall, which is pretty cool. Like how they play with music in that game. Like there's this gun you have. It's almost like a rail gun that you charge up, and it like zooms in. And when you charge up that gun, which basically shoots off this big pulse blast, you charge it up and the music dims. And like sometimes in those levels, there's like a dubstep thing. So you fire it and then the music kicks back in.
you drop the beat.
Exactly. It's actually really effective and cool. And I like seeing stuff like that. Lastly, did you guys ever watch Are You Afraid of the Dark on Nickelodeon?
No.
Well, Are You Afraid of the Dark was a show that came out in the early 90s, and it's kind of like a campfire horror tale show for kids. And it was on Amazon Prime. I haven't seen the show in ages. It's never been on Netflix. I've never seen it on DVD. I haven't seen it anywhere. And just seeing it on Amazon Prime, I was like, wow. Like, also they have a lot of other this 90s nostalgic stuff. They have all those shows from Nickelodeon. They have Doug, which is also isn't available anywhere else to get on DVD or stream. They have Doug. They have Clarissa Explains It All. But anyways, I was watching. I couldn't resist watching a couple episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's so obviously so super dated. Like all the kids are like super cheeseball actors. But
what channel did that show air on originally?
Nickelodeon.
It did.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't like a low budget slapped together. I mean, for its day, it was probably, fairly adequate when it comes to television for kids.
I was expecting it to be a lot worse. Going back to it, I was like, this is gonna be unwatchable. But I was actually like, wow.
It was all the old episodes, right?
Yeah, they had season like 1 through season like 8 or something like that. So like I watched.
They were rebooting it or something.
I watched like the first episode, which is about like these two kids who go to a carnival, and like the one kid's like the obvious bully. He's like, "You're chicken, you won't go in," and it's like that classic '90s thing. They act like '90s kids, and he like goes in and he like steals the nose off this clown statue, and then like the clown like haunts him. And
what?
I was probably really scared when I was a kid. I remember being scared of the show when I was a kid. I was afraid of everything when I was a kid, so of course I was afraid. I was afraid to stay home alone for like a really late age when I was a kid because I was afraid of tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
Well,
Yeah, you never know. Living in Florida, how many tornadoes? I've never seen a tornado in my entire life, so
That's why you're afraid of them.
exactly, it's the unknown. But like this show had like a counterpart, and I think the more popular counterpart part was Goosebumps. Did you guys watch that?
A little bit.
I
didn't have cable
not
growing
really.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was into that too. I was like one of those kids who was like scared of everything, but I kind of liked being scared of some certain things, so I was like drawn to these shows. But yeah, I checked that out.
I remember that frightened me. Goosebumps.
Yeah, they're making a movie.
I heard something about that.
Jack Black
Unbelievable.
is playing R.L. Stein, which I don't know what they're gonna do with it because R.L. Stein is the author of the Goosebumps books, and he'd like
They'll probably be
intro the
reading
show.
it.
What?
Probably like reading it.
It's
sort of.
him reading it.
Yep.
That's it.
And then like characters are acting out.
On a webcam, just reading it.
Exactly, and they're gonna release into theaters. It's probably gonna be one of those things where he's a real life author and he writes these books, and then everything comes to life, and it's all wacky. That's probably what it's gonna be.
Fantastic Fear of Everything.
Is that what it was?
Jeez.
Well, he became afraid of what he was writing about.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a kid's version of the Fantastic Fear of Everything. Just like that episode I watched was a kid version of It. But
Oh god.
It. That movie is freaky.
Halloween tradition for me, man. Tim Curry.
Jeez.
They all float down here, Georgie.
Jordan has lists for all of the major days of the year.
I don't know how to have a
Christmas.
Thanksgiving movie.
Well, you'll probably come up with one this year.
I'm gonna try. Challenge
We'll have
accepted.
to change that. Yeah.
I know there's a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving thing, but I think they have like every single holiday, so that's not.
Yeah, it's
special.
not really special.
I watched an Independence Day on 4th of July, so
Well, look at you
look at me. There's that.
being American.
Yeah. Welcome
Smart.
to Earth.
Smart.
You guys want to get into some MTG news?
Sure.
Bum, bum, bum.
Always down for some movie news. This is where our dubstep happened right here.
It's a really good dubstep imitation. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I think we should go on tour with that.
Yeah. MTG dubstep trio. Perfect.
Yeah.
First up, Joe, I think you're going to be happy about this because
Do you smell what the Rock's cooking?
Mr. Johnson is cooking.
he's pretty much all but confirmed that he's playing Shazam. He was in an interview and he was like, well, I can't talk about it, but I'll say he's
But I'm gonna
strong.
talk about it.
Exactly, but he
I
basically said
can't
it.
drop any hint. Hint. You know what I heard? I read an article where the Shazam trailer is going to be played before Hercules this weekend.
No, that's not true.
What?
That's ridiculous.
How ridiculous would
You
that
really
be?
read that?
No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, that's
April
I was gonna
Fools.
say
in July.
July Fools.
No, there's no
And
way. That's
I mean,
happening.
what do you think about that, Jordan? Because you don't like him, right?
The Rock?
Yeah.
I like The Rock a lot.
Okay. Well, tell me about it. See, I'm not. I'm familiar somewhat with Shazam. I'm now. This is gonna make maybe sound like a stupid question. Um, like, what's the difference between like a Captain Marvel, Shazam? Like, are they the same person or like what? Explain to us a little bit about because I've only seen. I think I saw the one movie.
Gladly. I will
yeah.
gladly talk about that, Joe. Shazam is based up on this little kid, about 10 years old, called Billy. And what happens, the wizard Shazam basically sees his heart. Shazam is the wizard that grants Billy his powers and basically tells him, whenever you're in trouble or someone needs help, you call upon my name and you will turn into Captain Marvel. Which, so that was the original conceit. Billy would say Shazam, call upon the wizard's name, and he'll be granted Shazam's powers and turn into a superhero, Captain Marvel. Obviously, as the time went on, there was a lot of confusion. You know, people thought he was a part of the Marvel Comics. People got Captain Marvel confused with Shazam, the character himself, and so it was this big thing. So in 2012, they actually changed Captain Marvel. Instead of calling him Captain Marvel, he's just called Shazam. Let's just simplify this. Let's make it easy. And so when he calls upon Shazam, he basically turns into a superhero who is also called Shazam. He basically has the power to fly. He has super strength.
It's like Superman, basically.
Yeah, he has magic though. That's the thing. Magic grants
Okay.
him his abilities, and he can like shoot lightning and stuff. And so his power comes from a non-scientific place, but a magic base. That's why when The Rock was talking about he can go toe to toe with Superman, it's true because he might not be quite as strong as Superman, but the fact that Superman has no resistance to magic, he can actually stand up in a fight with Superman. And so, and a
Right.
lot of times in the comics and in cartoons and stuff, they fight sometimes. And so, there you go.
I just want Superman to walk in and just be like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, maybe he will. Maybe he'll be in the Justice League. Who knows?
No, I mean
Well,
at that interview.
It got a.
What?
It's in development, but haven't they given it like a projection of like 2016 though, or do you know anything else?
That was a rumor that came out a while ago. It hasn't been confirmed by DC, but that list we read a few episodes ago,
Yeah,
that was what was projected. But
That seems so soon for them just talking like this in rumors.
and they don't have a writer or director or anything.
that we know of.
I think it's possible. Yeah, I mean that is true. They could be secretly doing it.
We probably figure out a lot more this week 'cause it's Comic-Con.
I feel like they
Starting up.
like to talk about what they have, though. I mean, they like to get not only the rumor mill going, but the facts mill going. It's like, oh, did you hear that? Oh, did you hear that? They got a new
Well-
director. They got a new writer.
Playing catch up.
I think that our next bit of news is probably the reason why they start talking about Shazam. You think that?
I definitely think that. I mean, they're having to play catch up because once Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, that's Marvel's 10th movie in its continuity. That's crazy.
And they added 5 this past week.
That's
And-
crazy. What'd they add?
No, they're all entitled. They've just scheduled them out. They're launching 3 movies in 2017. One in May or April, one in July, one in November, and then they've got one coming out July 2018, November 2018, and then 2019 is supposedly the Avengers 3. So
Wait, 2019?
Yep, they basically released all these they released 5 more release dates, quote unquote, where they locked it up.
Why are they waiting so long for the third one?
You know, your guess is as good as mine. It might not be Avengers, but that's what there's speculation. They're all considered Marvel untitles. But my biggest thing is my first thing is so there's going to be 3 Marvel movies in 2017. That seems that seems a little busy,
It's
doesn't
only
it?
one more than what we have the past couple of years. So, I don't know.
I guess so, but think about it. Captain America came out in April, right?
Yeah.
It's going to basically it played through into July, I mean, it hasn't even left theaters yet. And they're going to have one released in 2017 about this time. I don't know. I think they can probably do it. Well, no, let me take that back. I know they can do that, but just a lot of movies that are untitled, So let's start speculating. What do you think?
About movies they can do?
Yeah.
But
What do you think they're going to do?
Well, I mean, obviously they're only starting to do Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, the first films, and so they could obviously do a sequel of those movies, or they can do new heroes like Black Panther and
Well, we do know that one of them is a Captain America 3. And we do know that one of them is Avenger 3.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, Captain America 3, that's what they said. They said it was going to come out the same weekend as, was it Batman versus Superman, remember?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't?
No. That doesn't make sense for either of them. It's going to cut into both of their pockets, basically. I mean,
Well, Kevin Feige.
Feige. It's Feige.
He's not moving. That's their date. They're releasing Captain America 3 on that date.
One of them's gonna move. One of them has to move. I really hope one of them moves. I mean, honestly, it's no skin off my back. I'll see both of them the same day, but
Oh,
I don't know. One of the franchises is gonna suffer for it, and I'm actually afraid it's gonna be Captain America.
you do?
Yeah, I totally do.
Well, I think it depends on what the play up is till that point. I mean, what's the storyline of Captain America 3 going to be? I mean,
I know what it's not going to be. Batman and Superman aren't going to be in it. So, I mean, Captain America 3 easily could be better than Batman versus Superman. I think that's totally in the realm of possibilities, but those names, I mean, it's hard to beat the first movie with Batman and Superman in it. I mean,
that's true, but
pretty legendary.
Man of Steel, it's a sequel to Man of Steel, which people were, I liked it, but a lot of people were disappointed.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
You don't?
Not at all. I really don't.
I just like to be the negative voice here. Another couple to consider would be like, okay, a Hulk, standalone Hulk movie. Is that a possibility or no? In that in those numbers that they've thrown out.
It's totally a possibility. Just recently, like for a while there, I think the head ups at Marvel have been saying, no, I think Hulk works better on a team. But I think they've underestimated how much people liked Mark Ruffalo in that role in the Avengers and how much of a scene stealer he was. And so now, like, they've come out and said, like, okay, it's a possibility. And so
I'd be surprised if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah,
and then
makes sense to me.
I just read probably like 25 minutes ago. It's James, what's his name? James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. He all but said in this interview that they are already starting production for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 if this movie does well. If it doesn't do well, and it does marginally well, he still thinks that there's going to be, he might direct a different Marvel movie. What are your thoughts on him as a director or slash, I don't know, already talking about a Guardians of the Galaxy 2? I mean, it's probably a little bit early for that, right? Or do we all think that it's basically a done deal and it's going to be, a surefire winner?
Like, for me, it gives me good confidence on this first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, because if they're already like investing this much faith in him, like the studio at least must like what he's doing. I know that there's a possibility that we won't, but the fact that they're putting all that faith in him, that's a vote of confidence, So I don't know. We'll see. I feel good about it. I mean, I'm not a big James Gunn fan by any stretch of the imagination. I mean,
well, he's basically been a writer for the most part. I mean, he's directed like a couple of odds and ends, but nothing really, to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
He's mostly just written stuff. Like Scooby-Doo, I think, is like maybe his most well known. I mean, what do you know of anything else that he's written? Dawn of the Dead.
I don't know about him as a writer, but personally, I can pretty much guarantee Guardians is going to do 100 million. That's my opinion. To me, like, Marvel has just, they've built up this thing. They just bring the people in. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be a great movie. I sure hope it does, and I think it's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to be a solid Marvel movie, but I just think they're going to bring people. I think they are.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's almost guaranteed. I mean, that may be me going out on a limb, but it's just, from what we've seen, Captain America did really well. I mean, surprisingly well. And
yeah, but
I think
it
we
wasn't
all
a
are cheering
first.
for that.
Yeah, but it wasn't a first. It was kind of a third one because you have Avengers tied in there.
Well, all of them, I think, kind of help the momentum of those franchises. Each time there's a second Thor, it helps Iron Man. Each time Captain America 2 does well, it gets people excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. And the name recognition, I think, is going to bring it down some. But it's just, to me, it's like a locomotive moving in the same direction, and each part of it is just, it's just got that power. And I think sooner or later the whole thing's going to slow down, and we're going to see kind of the end of this reign of Marvel. But I don't see it soon.
Yeah, there's no reason to think that. And like the fact that like the trailer, the marketing has been pretty tight on this film.
Yep,
It's been
I definitely agree with you.
really well done. And the commercial, they're well received. They're stylistic trailers. People really like it and take a shine to it. And like the fact that it opens up with Marvel Studios, that's like putting a 2 after the title in and of itself, just because it's part of that continuity, you know. So I think that's definitely going to draw in people. I agree with you.
What I'm looking most forward to is how it's going to tie in with everything else. Like, how are they going? Because they always do that. They tie it in, and that's going to be the real big. Like, okay, are they going? Is it just going to be basically? It's not going to be just a standalone film, but are they going to tie it in well enough where you can really like, okay, this feels like it fits. So far, so good, but that's what I'm most antsy. I guess I'm antsy about that, but for the most part, like I love the trailers. Just like they make me want to see it. Like they make me like sing the song. You know, I'm hooked on that. I'm hooked on it, man.
Hooga chaka.
I read some article, and it's been a long time now. I mean, it was probably 6 months ago, and I really wish I'd saved it so we could reread it now, because it was going into pretty good depth on how Guardians was going to really lead the way for Avengers 2. And I may be screwing this up because I read a long time ago, but they said how they were going to introduce kind of the world that was going to bring the Avengers into like more of a galaxy style scene instead of like, you know, they've pretty much been like tied to the Earth right now, and because they introduced Thanos and Ultron's going to be in it, like it opens up that they need to have more of a I'm not explaining it correctly, but you need to have more of a galaxy view on the Avengers now because of the people they're going against. And I don't know all these characters as well as Jordan, but they said something like that. They're going to introduce Thanos. I don't think, from what I read, I don't think he's going to have a huge role, but I think he's definitely going to tie in. They're going to kind of introduce who he is, and then I think they're going to kind of leave us with some kind of cliffhanger that's going to go right into the Avengers. That's my opinion. And we may not see Ultron at all. That's my opinion. I don't think we're going to see Ultron. Maybe at the little, you know, what's one last thing kind of thing, like Apple always does, like one last cliffhanger. But yeah, that's what I remembered in the article. But it's been a while since I read it, so have no fear, Joe. I think they have something planned for us that you're gonna like.
I think it's gonna end with Thanos. He's going to be laughing.
Same scene.
And he's going to be looking at the camera. And he says, "Now I'm coming for the Avengers. Avengers 3.
After he's killed Guardians.
Yes.
He's murdered all of them.
And it's going to have a full 3-minute Avengers 2 trailer.
Oh my
You don't know that.
Yep,
It's actually just the first scene of the movie.
Oh, no.
I'm really excited to see what's after the credits.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Same here.
So some Star Wars news, right?
Yeah.
I guess, like every week, like every single day.
This was it keeps getting stranger though. Like, is J.J. Abrams, is he going to be like narrating the trailer whenever it comes out? Is he gonna be standing in front of a microphone, like talking about the production of the movie? You guys have both
no.
seen this video today that came out, right?
No, I have
You
not.
haven't
I
seen
saw
it at
a
all?
picture of
Didn't want
the
to.
ship. Him
Well,
standing in front of the
basically,
ship.
he's basically doing what he did last time, where he came on and said, "You need to, we're trying to donate money for this cause, and then we're going to give a Star Wars fan basically. Not only are we going to give them a part in the show, we're also going to
In the movie?
Yeah, in the movie. Sorry, we're going to also let them have a private screening in their hometown of the movie when it comes out
What?
with 20 of their closest friends."
That's awesome.
And we're going to fly an X-Wing to their city and give it to them.
Yeah. Well, the
Can
thing about
it
it is
be in the guy in the scene to show up at the climax and the bad guy's got the good guys cornered and you say, "Don't worry guys, I got this," and take out the bad guy? Is that the part you play if you win?
Just some small
geez,
part.
I don't
like that.
I don't know what part you play, Jordan. He didn't talk about that, but he was standing in front of the new X-wing for the new movie,
Yeah.
and it looked pretty cool. I like how they built a model of the X-wing, and that's not just like a green boat, and they're like gonna put an X-wing digitally.
Green boat.
Yeah, something
They
ridiculous.
have to row this time.
Yeah. I don't
Is
know. It's
it-
pretty cool. I just can't. I don't know how many more of these I can take before I'm like starting to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I was online and a couple of movie sources from movie news places said, "Oh, rumored plot of episode 7." And I looked down at it and I said, "No, I'm not gonna read it. I don't want to look at that."
That's ridiculous.
It's
Yeah, I
like
don't-
when
I
they
don't do
release
that.
their stuff, like I'll do it. But if it's some guy who like got a peek at the script and he's spilling the beans, I don't want to see that.
That's the worst.
No.
Yeah, that's awful. I'll wait until the trailer and I'll watch it. But yeah, the X-wing looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all.
It's
I wanted to
huge.
share. Yeah, it is huge.
Jeez, just looking at
And-
the picture right now, it's giant. He's like standing next to it. He's like.
I like how at the end
scale.
of it, the little like the X fighter or the rebel pilot, he gets up into it. It's pretty funny.
That's cool. I'll watch that.
You
Oh,
should.
my
It's only a
gosh.
minute long.
They should make a flying one. I'm just saying.
A real one. Come on, Honda.
That'll raise money for charity.
You win an X-wing. A real X-wing.
Just an X-wing. No
Here
big
you
deal.
go, kid. Have fun flying through the galaxy.
Well, we're now going from a topic of a reboot or a revamping of a series to the death of one, possibly.
Well, there's been rumors going around. This isn't confirmed or anything, but I've had this feeling in my gut as well that might confirm these rumors. The Sinister Six movie, people are saying that it's dying or dead. And for people who don't know, the Sinister Six is a league of villains in the Spider-Man universe, and their plans are or were to make a movie based around these villains. And so, with Ortsy and Kurtzman leaving this franchise, it's kind of left a big question mark on where it's going. And there's been some buzz around the air saying that the Sinister Six movie might be dead. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it goes a little deeper than that.
Probably. I'm sure it
Can I
does.
say that?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think I read an article where I don't even know how to spell. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Kurtzman, Alex
That's right.
Kurtzman. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Where he basically said the future of like basically Spider-Man and Sinister Six is up for grabs. Could this be the moment that Marvel's waited for? Could it? Or is that pie in the sky? Did I just have a like just? Is there? Is it not? Is it ever at all an option that Sony
No,
would
it's-
get rid of it?
It's a
Because in all-
possibility, but
Spider-Man did not do well. Spider-Man 2, by the standards of the series, was the worst one.
yeah, by the financial standards
Financially.
of the series, yes. That is very true. I mean, I like to think I think that can that happen? Can it revert back over to Marvel? I'd like that, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it's over Sony's dead body, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, they said that they'll consider teaming up with basically Marvel and the Avengers when they run out of stories to tell. And hey, have they? Their writers have packed their bags and left. So
Yeah.
is that running out of stories to tell? I don't know.
Because they've also talked with that Sinister Six thing. It was like Sinister Six. We're going to do this movie, and then we're going to have Venom standalone movie after Sinister Six.
I don't want any of that. Like, seriously, finding out that Sinister Six movie is dead is the best day of my life. But because like I don't want that. Where's it gonna be? I mean I know that like they could pull out some interesting story out of it, but I don't think so. So I don't know. I doubt it. Nice sniff, Joe. This is a podcast.
Sorry, I got a runny nose right now. I think I'm freezing to death in my house.
You sick piece of garbage.
Sorry, all of you listeners out there for my nostrils.
Yeah, listen. Here we are reporting on the set of Inside Joseph's Nose.
That's always been something that's frustrated me, the divide that's been there between the Marvels and Marvel Studios and what they're doing and what Spider-Man's doing and how Sony has it under wraps and how X-Men have kind of stayed in their own universe. And I mean, not that I don't like those. I like the Marvel and what they're doing. I like Spider-Man. I just enjoy when these movies come together. That's always been something I've loved, and I know the dynamics of it are hard to overcome. But I mean, some of these characters, like Spider-Man, if he really is dying, why not try to bring him in? Why not try to do some kind of cross-platforming? I mean, come on, Sony. Like, if you're really struggling, which, I mean, I know it still was a very profitable movie, but if you really are at the point where you don't want to make a Sinister Six, where else are you going to go with the Spider-Man franchise? I don't see it. So why not try something? I mean, what the heck? and yeah,
there might be something going on behind the scenes. Like, how cool would it be if they picked up the next movie? And I'd love the cast. Keep the cast, please. If Marvel came in and said, all right, we're reverting the rest of your contracts, Andrew Garfield, over to us. And we're continuing Spider-Man 3 in our universe.
I don't even know how it would look.
I have no idea.
It's a hard thing to accomplish, but everybody loves superheroes right now, so take advantage of that while it's still hot. Like, next decade, we don't know. You know, things could be completely different. The sway of the public could be the where they're sick of superheroes, and I think that's a definite possibility in the next 10 years. People get sick of these movies.
It's very possible.
We stop seeing these $100 million movies.
I hope not, but that's very possible and very likely. Actually,
It's more. I mean, these movies are more 200 million. I mean, they spent a load of money on Spider-Man 2 to basically flop. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think the budget was, I mean, without marketing, was almost close to $200 million.
What's the worldwide at right now? Do you know?
It's at $700 million, which, that's not terrible.
Not at all. That's a lot of money, Joe.
Yeah, but for the standards that the company has set with the other ones, it's far less. I mean, so far, like the next lowest one was like the first Amazing Spider-Man, which was like $760 million. So you're talking about 60 million. Yeah. No. Amazing Spider-Man, like the reboot, first one.
Oh, okay. Well,
it goes Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2 are the top Spider-Man movies. Like Spider-Man 3 almost made $900 million.
Good grief, the worst one.
Yep.
Well, I welcome change. Like, seriously, I hope there is sort of a wake-up call. What we were talking about last episode, I feel like the Spider-Man franchise needs to kind of kick it up. Not just we're going to do the same thing, but better. Because I think that's what they did do, in my opinion, with Amazing Spider-Man 2. They did the same thing they've always been doing, but better. And I just want them to do something different. I think everyone wants that too. But we'll see. I'm hopeful. So, moving on, there's a little tidbit I threw in here I thought was relatively interesting. The guy who's handling the Crow reboot, he's directing The Ring 3. See, I didn't even know The Ring 3 was going to happen. Did you guys even hear about that? I had no idea. It's again, one of those things. How long has it been since The Ring 2?
I forget.
It's been a long time.
Where's Doug?
2005.
Yeah.
So 2005.
So by the time it comes out,
9 years.
yeah, by the time it comes out, it'll be 10 years old. That's crazy.
It's not even called The Ring 3. It's called The Ring 3D.
No.
Oh my god.
No. When is that ever a good idea?
Really?
It says it has a $33 million budget. It literally has nothing on it. It's
Oh
like
my
it has a writer.
When does
That's
that
it.
title ever really
Wow.
become a good thing? Like Jason
Wow.
or Friday the 13th 3D and like Jaws 3D. When is that ever a good thing that for a franchise to put on their title?
I don't know.
Where does a movie get off coming out with the 3D in the title now? Like, that thing is way done.
It's so new.
People are so over 3D.
I know.
It's old. It's worn.
Yeah.
Also known as The Ring 3, which is what it should be known as.
I know.
I'm sure they're gonna change the title.
Did you guys like The Ring 2?
No,
Me
I
neither.
barely like The Ring 1.
Well, I really like The Ring 1, so whatever. So, next piece of news, a little landmark achievement for Netflix. They have reached 50 million members and subscribers.
Well done, Netflix. Way to take over the universe.
They
Yeah.
also reached, I think it was like $1.3 billion in revenue this second quarter of this year when they reached that 50
So they're
million.
struggling now, huh?
Yep. Struggling bit mighty fine.
Man,
It's a nice
that's
piece of cheese.
insane. That is
Yeah.
insane.
Wow. I've enjoyed so much Netflix over the years. Thank you, Netflix, for not, I don't know, failing me.
You know what impresses me too is how cheap it is to watch movies on Netflix compared to any other way. I mean, all streaming services, but compared to any other method we've ever had, definitely in our lifetime, I'm sure in our
Yeah.
parents' lifetime, like there's just no way of getting any entertainment for cheaper than these streaming services that have come up.
Yeah. And that's funny because rare is the day that I don't go onto Facebook and see someone complain. Oh, there's nothing new on Netflix. Nothing new to watch on Netflix. Oh, are you kidding? What a bunch of complainers and whiners. There's so much on Netflix that you just,
Yeah.
like maybe stuff you haven't seen that you might need to give a chance, but there's so much. My queue is filling to the brim. It's ridiculous. No, Netflix is great.
The one complaint I do have about it is hard to find sometimes movies that maybe you wanted to see, but then they went out of like the new releases and stuff like that. I do wish there was a better discoverability about Netflix.
What, Max doesn't help you, Luke? Have you ever talked to Max?
Max?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a PlayStation thing. Joe, have you tried Max?
No. I need
I'm joking, Luke. No, you don't, Joe. It's so dumb. It's some guy who's like, hey, I'm Max. Need help finding a movie? All right, let's do this. What are you into right now? And you like pick an actor or a genre or something. It depends. I've never picked something that Max has picked for me, but try it. It's funny. It's amusing at best. And I feel bad each time he's like, oh, that doesn't work? How about this? And it like brings up some movie I've already seen or movie I never want to see in my entire life. And I'm like, no. And then he's like, oh, okay. How about this? And I just feel bad. And then eventually he gives up. And he's like,
Oh,
sorry, we
how
couldn't
about
find anything.
this? Jordan, watch my movie.
But yeah, you should check that out. It's entertaining.
This should be our question of the week to all of our listeners. What do you prefer, Netflix, Hulu, or Prime? Is
What do you
there
prefer, Joe?
is there one that's better than the other?
Yeah,
Like,
Netflix.
should you have multiple ones?
Netflix.
Here's a statistic that I saw.
A statistic.
Statistic. I'm losing my mind. My nose is about to run just all over my chin.
It's dangerous.
Netflix has 32% of the top 75 shows over the past few years. So I think it's 4 years is how they judge it. While Hulu Plus has closer to 50%. So if you want recent shows, you probably should go with Hulu Plus over Netflix. But other than that, Netflix pretty much trumps Hulu and Amazon in every other category. They have
Yeah.
they have like 20% of the top 50 blockbusters. They have, more than what was it? What was the other percentage I saw? Like 30 something percent of the top movies of the last decade, and all sorts of stuff that I've seen while researching this. Which one's best? The only
If you
thing that's
guys
cool.
are sorry, go ahead.
The only thing that's cool about maybe Amazon is they have they have movies that Netflix doesn't have. So
Yeah,
that's
some.
where you kind of run into it. It's like, okay, which one do I need to pick? Well,
They have
you might need
HBO
to do
stuff
some
too,
research. Yeah, exactly.
which is a huge competitor for Netflix. So that was a
Yeah.
some of you guys might enjoy this. Go to Hulu Plus and go to their movie section and go to whatever most popular and just keep scrolling down if you want a good laugh. There are some movies that you will not believe exists. You'll probably find 3 knockoffs of Kung Fu Panda and pretty much a knockoff of any other movie that probably Asylum Pictures puts out, but it's a hilarious thing. I sat down with my roommates for like an hour just scrolling through with no intentions of picking anything, just looking at these movies and laughing our heads off.
Huh.
And it's funny how like they really need to section off that little section they have because it's really bad. There'll be like a softcore porn movie displayed and it's like this big raunchy picture like right next to Barney. It's I'm like, oh man, I hope a family isn't going through this. But no, I thought that was pretty amusing.
Huh. That is funny.
So we got some trailers today.
Trailer talk time. I feel like you guys make me pick these because you guys never add any.
You're just so good, Joe.
I picked a lot of these topics, Joe.
No, well, I mean
Your
the
face.
trailer talk ones.
Oh, okay.
I seem to always pick those.
Well, good job for contributing.
Oh, jeez, whatever. All right,
what's
so
first up,
guys, the first trailer. It's a movie that's actually been out for a few weeks, but it's in such a limited release that I don't feel like I'll ever see it in theaters because it won't play. It won't be playing within 300 miles.
Not get us excited about watching the trailer.
I'm so hyped. It's never coming to theaters.
I've seen the
I can't
trailer.
wait.
You guys should check it out. It's actually kind of an interesting idea and concept of a movie. So go watch the trailer for Boyhood.
All right, Boyhood. Trailer 1?
Yeah,
All right, Boyhood. Trailer 1.
I've got
Go
to
watch. Wow. That looks really good.
All right, it looks interesting. At least that's a kind of ridiculous. The 12 years to film that movie.
How long is the movie going to be?
It's 3 hours long.
12 years.
12 years long?
No, jeez.
Yeah, I guess it needs to be 3 hours. If I'm filming every year of my life or
I
2 months, then
I read a report that there was a guy that was trying to break the world record for the longest movie ever.
Yeah.
It's like 30 days long.
Yeah.
where did that movie come out?
Where did that movie that's 30 days long come out?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
I don't-
something an American
No, it's
would
going
do.
to come out like 2018.
What, are you kidding me?
No, it's
That's
like
what they
I
said.
read. Hey, podcasters, please come back next week. We will have more information about this. This is a tease.
We'll have watched the movie.
Anyways, let's talk
Oh,
about
yeah, and the trailer for that movie is an hour and a half or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Boyhood.
It's the reason that I saw it was it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for like the first 2 weeks it was out, and now it's got a 99%.
Is it only available in 3D? Is it only available in theaters? I know a lot of these IFC films come out on video on demand. Is that an option?
I don't know if it's
to view it?
I don't know. I haven't checked into that. I just know that it's limited release. It's
Oh,
been out
man.
actually since like I think the beginning of July.
That is really interesting. It looks like my kind of.
I really don't understand what's going on in that trailer, but
No,
Probably nothing. Probably just a kid's life, and that's.
that looks interesting.
I
right?
like that sort of thing.
it's weird how like they filmed him all that time, but like there's clearly actors, so
Yeah,
like it's not. At first, when I saw it the other day, but at first I was thinking, oh, okay, so they just like he just follows him around with his family, but no, it's like clearly a scripted
No,
thing
yeah,
with like
it's-
actors. It's just like he grew up during the filming of it.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very much a movie, which
Which
I
is
wonder
pretty
if it was
cool.
one of those ones where he didn't actually plan on doing this, But the movie kept dragging on, and he's like, you know what? Let's just follow you growing up.
This is taking way too long to make. This is what I meant to do all along.
Well,
We'll just
that
say
would be
that.
ridiculous.
No, it looks really good, and I definitely want to see it and talk about it because I want to. Yeah, I'm sold on the idea alone. I want to see it.
Yeah, well, we'll have to check it out. The next
Yeah.
one I saw is I just saw this flash. It came out like I think today or yesterday or something. It's a Benedict Cumberbatch movie.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's called The Imitation Game. So I think there's only an international trailer available. So check it out
All
and
right.
come back.
Sweet. Let's do it. Fine. And we're back.
And we're back.
The Imitation Game.
Wow. Just wow.
Riveting.
I mean,
What? What's wrong?
I don't know. It just seems like the poor guy does like the same movie.
What do you mean?
It's like the same. Like Benedict Cumberbatch is.
Yes, this is just like The Hobbit.
He has a hard time changing himself, you mean?
Yeah.
He's a really smart guy who no one understands. Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Nobody understands.
You know, I'll probably see it. I'll give it a chance.
Not in theaters, you won't, or will you?
Definitely not in theaters.
It's a rare actor, though, who's able to really transform themselves.
This guy, he's going for Oscar gold. This is it. This is November. This is coming out. It's Oscar watch time. He looks like he's emoting quite well in this trailer.
Yeah.
So,
Really? Do you think it's worth a nomination, just from what you've seen?
What? I have no idea.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. Just
It very
just
well
guessing.
could be though. He has.
He's going for it.
Yeah.
Period. It seems like he's doing there's going to be a lot of scenes where it's really quiet and no music's happening, and he's screaming
Oh my
at a
gosh.
crowd of people about how what
my
he's doing is going to change the world, and then he gets really emotional, and that's going to be the clip that they play for a nomination if he gets
And
nominated.
then they'll show him in the audience crying. So,
Yeah,
like
right.
you know, that's I definitely agree with you, Jordan. And you know what? He probably could do a very good job. It probably could be it could be a King's Speech movie, possibly.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Because I didn't like the King's Speech trailer, but I liked the
No.
movie.
I was like, what's this boring movie that won Best Picture? And I watched it and I cried and thought it was the best movie of all time. I did not think it was the best movie. It's really good. It's a really good movie.
I'm looking forward to that movie, and I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I do not think that movie's. It just didn't look like that material to me. But I
Who
am
knows?
looking forward to it. It does look good, and all respect to him. He's a good
Let's just
actor.
say that worst movies have won.
Oh, I'm not saying that it looks bad, because I want to see it. It's just, from what I've seen, that seems to be the popular movie to be the big Oscar contender. I don't know.
Tywin Lannister is in it. Game of
buying
Thrones
it.
watchers.
Thanks, Jordan, for that
You're
awful
welcome.
fact.
Shut up, Joe. Keira
All right.
Knightley's in that other movie too. What that Philip Seymour Hoffman movie?
Yeah, she's like making her
12 Years a
rounds.
Slave?
What? No. All right, so
Well, we have a couple of. I think it's almost like our TV and our gaming is like a quick. Okay, let's do a lightning round here. Lightning round of television news. Go, Jordan.
well, yeah. First item on the television news.
And last.
Thank you, NPR anchor.
First half. What are we gonna say? What am we gonna say? I saw an episode of something and it was good, and then there's gonna be some new show that you don't know about. There's like a new show every second.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not making a good case for myself. MTG is basically gives us a license to talk about TV when we want to, but even whether there's TV news or not. But
Week to week, things change.
yeah.
Movies just dominate. We
There's-
can just accept that right now.
Yes. All right. Wentworth Miller is playing Captain Cold in The Flash. Huge news.
Yeah.
Huge groundbreaking news.
Could be
Change the TV world forever. Things
Wow.
will never be the same.
cool.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
wait
right.
for Michael Schofield to be back on my TV.
Think he'll have plans? That tattoo still on his back from Prison Break?
No, that's why in the second season he wore long sleeves, is because he never actually had the tattoo. They had to cover him up.
Okay, well, that's just really exciting news, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, hey, I'm excited about the Flash.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'll be watching it. For the longest time, Captain Cold, I I just would see him in like either a comic book panel or like a cartoon. I'd be like, "Hey, it's Mr. Freeze," because it's just a guy in a big fur coat with a freeze gun. I'm like, "Oh, it's Captain Cold," but no, it's just someone with the same basically threat as Mr. Freeze, who's actually just more of an enemy of the Flash instead of Batman.
Well, and that's great for the Flash show. Okay, Jordan?
Good. No, good.
And I can't wait for emotionless Wentworth Miller to play him.
His career never really took off, did it? Gaming
No.
news.
He does a lot of like gaming voices and stuff.
Oh, really? That's fun.
Yeah.
I'd do that if I were him too.
Yeah.
So there's actually some kind of interesting gaming news instead of last week me saying there's new character in Super Smash Brothers and Tekken 800's coming out. Okay, so on a serious note, Microsoft is going to shut down its Xbox Entertainment Studio, laying off 18,000 people. Well, there's not 18,000 people in the Xbox Entertainment Studio. This is just part of this layoff initiative they've started because they're reformatting the way they're doing things and kind of streamlining their stuff.
Okay, here we go. Let me explain, because I've had to talk to people about this, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of misunderstanding about what's going on. First of all, 13,500 of those jobs are Nokia. They're pretty much axing Nokia. They've basically taken like proprietary things that Nokia had, and they're going to implement it into their team. And they're basically getting rid of all of the Nokia people except maybe some of the top CEOs and head guy leaders of teams. And the other thing is their shorts and stuff that Xbox Entertainment was like big on just didn't do well. No excuses for Xbox because they get a lot of things wrong. And I am not a fan of Microsoft, so I'm just saying that right now.
Oh.
But I do like the Xbox. That's like the only thing I actually really like about it, about Microsoft. And so, like, a lot of people are just like, "Oh my God, it's the end of Microsoft." Well, first of all, there's like over 50,000 people that work for Microsoft. So, I'm sorry, it's more than that. But anyways, I haven't done my homework on that part. But I do know that 13,500 of the jobs are Nokia, and so. Have no fear, Xbox fans. Luke is here.
Luke is here to ease your pain. No, I think this is a good thing. Like, honestly, like, looking into it, like, back in the day, like, that's why video game crash happened, because people were just making video games, and there was no way for them to test the market other than just wonder why people aren't buying video games. But now, if there's a concern, if there's a criticism, it's known. And right now, I think the criticism is people don't really care about, like, if they buy a video game console, they want video games. They want video games. If they wanted, TV, they'd, go Netflix or something like that. And Microsoft is listening, and they're saying, all right, we're going to reformat our way of doing things and kind of refocus it. And hey, that's fine. If that's what it takes to make a good console, make a good business strategy, do it.
I think that's my biggest complaint, though. I've heard that, and I just don't understand it. Like, everybody says like Microsoft wasn't focusing on the games, but it's like, honestly, what do they need to do? Like, let's face it, 9 out of 10 games come out on at least the 2 major systems, if not Wii U. They come out almost identical. One system may get it a few days earlier than another one. And then there are those proprietary products that Microsoft has and Sony has, and they get those. And a lot of times it's a similar number on both sides. And for me, they brought out Xbox, and Xbox was very similar in specs. As usual, PlayStation was a little bit faster, had a little bit better CPU, a little bit better graphics, but honestly, it doesn't make a freaking difference. Like, if Microsoft saved money on the hardware, I think it was a better business decision, honestly. Why put a heavier hardcore CPU, a better GPU, when you're going to end up with the same game? Because those studios have to come out with a game that works on both systems. So they have to make them work for both. So it doesn't matter, like, what's inside. And for me, at least the Xbox offered some other things. It offers voice interactivity. It offers these other functions, which, yeah, I may not use them, but hey, I got them. And I still have the playability that you get with PlayStation. So for me, it's like, what do you gain by getting PlayStation? Nothing. What do you gain with Xbox? A few things. You may not use them, and they may not be worth it to you. If they're not worth it to you, the Xbox is the same price as the PlayStation for the same system without any Kinect.
Well, I mean, it's always going to be the same thing. Like, it's the same thing, I think, with the last generation. Like, there's a few graphical differences, but really what people bought a system for was, all right, let me look at these games and let's see which exclusives appeal to me. Because gamers are different. Like, there's going to be a game that'll appeal to Joe, appeal to Luke, that won't appeal to me, or like in the other way around. And so I think this generation will be more at a standstill than even last year's, because there's like the exclusives for both are just so good. But, you know, as far as the entertainment stuff goes, it's like Sony's doing the same thing, and like it's not exciting me. Like, we were talking about it like on our first episode about the E3 conference and how Sony felt like they should spend 10 minutes talking about their new TV show Powers, and like when people were there to listen about what new games they can be excited about and have faith in, you know, the console that they just dropped $400 on, and they started talking about this show, which, you know, that's fine. Like, honestly, sure, if a new show's coming out and that's what they want to do, that's fine. But like,
it has no place in that meeting. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, but like,
say that same thing at a different point where people want to know about a TV show.
Say it at Comic-Con. If there's a show based on a comic series, say it at Comic-Con. But like, when people hear about a TV show that's going to be produced by a video game making company, there's going to be some skepticism, and there's going to be people expressing they're not interested in it because they didn't spend $400 to watch a TV show. They spent $400 to play games.
Yeah, and I think that's a waste of time for both the companies.
Yeah, and so Microsoft is being smart at this point in saying, maybe we shouldn't spend this much money on this whole thing. If it's going to backfire on us and we're not going to see the return, maybe we shouldn't drop, you know, a few $1 billion on this, and we should refocus our efforts. And, you know, I hope, like, and that's the thing about competition that's good. Both of them are listening to each other. Like, Sony will look at things that Xbox is doing, and they'll say, maybe we should do it that way. And the same thing with Xbox. Xbox will look at a few things Sony's doing and say, maybe we should give them that sort of option. And so, what can I say? Competition's great. And, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, for the people getting laid off, of course. It's never a good thing to lose a job, but I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities for these guys, hopefully. I hope.
Yeah, it's got to be hard to get a job at Microsoft. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're experienced.
For sure.
Good employees.
Gaming news, guys.
They employ approximately 170,000 employees.
Holy smokes.
I thought I might be way off.
Samsonite. I was way off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that includes their contractors and stuff. So it's technically the numbers they probably publicly say they are about 100 to 115,000 people. So they're actually cutting close to 20%, which is quite a bit of their company. So,
but, I mean, like I said, the big part of it is
it's only 12,000.
They bought Nokia.
12,000 Nokia.
13,500 was the number I saw, but anyway, it's the majority of the people getting fired. That was expected, and not to mention Satya Nadella just took over Microsoft, and he wants to make it his own, and who can blame him? I mean, Microsoft is losing money. They're not in a good place. They really need to find their place in this new cloud-powered, you know, mobility marketplace. They haven't. Yeah,
but like, I mean, if my math might be wrong, but technically, if everyone had a decent severance package, 18,000 jobs. That's quite the chunk of change to pay. So we'll see. Be interesting.
Indeed, it will. So, Joe, do you have any games for us to play?
No. I mean, we could play like.
Scrabble.
I mean,
That'll be fun. You want to play a 3.5-hour game of Monopoly here? Everyone can listen to us breathe as we play this game.
Okay, well, we could do this. Okay, since technically Transformers is in its 24th day. Okay? Which movie made more money? Transformers Age of Extinction or Captain America 2 in 24 days in the domestic box office?
Stop. Transformers, right? It's got to be Transformers.
Are you sure?
No.
Go ahead,
That's what I'm
Luke.
saying.
What do you think?
I feel like you give us a hint in the notes here, but I'm gonna go with apes.
What? That wasn't an option.
You said Transformers or Planet of the Apes, didn't you?
No,
You
I
said
said
Captain
Captain
America
America.
Oh, I thought you said Planet of the Apes or Transformers.
No, but Planet of the Apes did repeat as number
Which
one.
is doing
for the
better
weekend.
right now, you mean?
I said which made more in 24 days in
Oh,
the
okay.
domestic box office.
In the domestic. Winter Soldier.
Okay. Actually, Transformers beat it by $2 million
Wow.
in the domestic box office, which is not a lot.
Whatever. I
Also,
guess par for
in
the
case
course.
anybody
That's
was
sad.
keeping track, probably sometime next week, Transformers will reach the $1 billion mark. It's at about 900 million right now, so
I cannot believe that.
it's playing like wildfire over in the old foreign market.
Whatever.
But I can't believe it beat it in domestic.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand foreign box office, so whatever it happens, it happens. I don't know what they like over there, but domestic that surprises me.
Yeah. Well,
Well, in
His
20
name is Captain America.
darn
I mean,
it.
come on.
Well, here's the thing. It probably won't, in the long run, beat it. I think Captain America is too far ahead of it in the long run, but in 24 days, the first 24 days, it did beat it by $2 million. So it's looking to pass Maleficent very soon.
Robot
Anyways.
Joe just took over your voice, Joe, for a little bit. It was really nice to hear.
Sky pickup.
Really? My bad.
Fun. So coming up soon, Comic-Con.
That's this weekend. And
That's this
we got
weekend.
Hercules coming out.
Are we gonna review that, Joe?
Let's see how it is first.
What do you mean? Let's see how it is. Let's watch it, and if we don't like it, we won't review it. What are you saying?
Sure.
You saying let's look at Rotten Tomatoes, and if it gets a 1%, we won't go see it.
Let's see it, and we'll see if we can work it in next week. Maybe we can give the viewers what they want.
Yes, we aim to please. Well, follow us on Twitter at MTGPod and on Facebook.com/MTGPodcast and on Instagram at MTGPodcast. Thank you guys for talking. Luke, Joe, we'll see you later.